This is badass, and this is Georgie versus Dragonuser for Smogon Superstars. Georgie's gonna lead with the Metagross, and Ryuzen Paku, aka Dragonuser, is gonna have Gengar. Georgie's gonna scout for the Will-O-Wisp, and he's gonna get it with his Charizard. He's then gonna try to throw a Flamethrower, but Ryuzen Paku has that Snorlax, and that's gonna be a pretty hard counter to Charizard, I think, unless it has Focus Punch, which would be pretty interesting. It does seem like a pretty good set, though. Tyranitar, Blissey, Snorlax all pretty much get fucked by Focus Punch. But anyway, he's going to test the waters with the sub, see he has no business in there with Body Slam, and then he's going to go out to his Metagross, who's going to get crit and paralyzed by the Body Slam. Not a bad play for Georgie necessarily, since now he can be a decent counter to Gengar, seeing as he can't be burned. We have a little exchange here. It's going to end up with Regice versus Suicune. Suicune's going to get the Calm Mind up, but he is poisoned now, so unless he has Rest, that's going to severely affect his longevity in this game. And Suicune looks to be a pretty important counter to Georgie's Charizard, if it does indeed have Focus Punch. Perhaps a good bit of foresight on Georgie's part to pack Toxic on Metagross. Georgie's also going to reveal an Aerodactyl, which is yet another piece of the puzzle that Dragonuser has to keep his Suicune alive for. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on that thing to be at good health and have a low sleep counter, since, obviously if the sleep counter is 3 or 2 or whatever you're set to as he first rests, you're probably going to get boned as Georgie with bad sleep talk moves. Alright, and Georgie here is making some strange plays. He looks like he's just going to be sacrificing his Regice to Jirachi and let it Calm Mind up, but he does reveal himself to have a Dugtrio, of course. Why else would he do that if he didn't have a Dugtrio? I ask myself. He wouldn't just let himself get swept for no reason. He does catch him on a Wish, and I don't know Jirachi's entire set exactly. He might have revealed it, but I wasn't paying great attention. But I don't think that it could have knocked out Dugtrio in one hit with a coverage move like Fire Punch, or definitely not Thunderbolt. So it was probably a good move on Georgie's part, seeing as Fire Punch probably would have been the move to be used against Regice. Here, he's going to bring back out the Gengar, and Georgie's going to send in his Regice, special defensive beast. He's only going to take 16%, alright, and then Georgie's going to switch back into his Metagross. He's going to fire off a Meteor Mash into the sleeping Suicune, but he does have a Sceptile waiting in the wings, and that's going to be a pretty hard counter to the sleeping Suicune, unless that is it carries Ice Beam, which I have seen some Calm Mind Surf Ice Beam Rest ones, but I don't think that that's what Dragonuser is using. We'll find out in time, I guess, but I think he was probably using Roar, or, probably Roar over anything else. And Georgie's going to bring out his Sceptile, and it is one of those fancy Endeavor sets. I really like those, actually. I think Swampert one's a really cool one, too. Basically, what they do is they have Sub, and I think Salic, perhaps Pataya in Georgie's case, since Sceptile's already pretty fast. And they basically sub down to, I don't know, 1 HP, any HP along the way. It doesn't really matter, but they sub down to low HP as possible, and then they endeavor you down to virtually 1 health, actually. I think Swampert does it best due to the Sandstorm immunity, so we can sub down to literally 1 HP, but they're all pretty cool. But he does have the Gengar, as he showed, and that's going to counter that pretty hard, but not before he let his Snorlax get endeavored down to about, I think it was about 35% of his health. Regice is going to come in, he's going to Thunderbolt that Snorlax, and I'm not sure why he did this, since Regice could have still been useful in dealing with Gengar, even at the low health. It doesn't take very much from Thunderbolt, and it could have been another last-ditch attempt to stop it. But he's just going to boom, and he's going to take out the Snorlax, and I don't really know why he won that Snorlax gun, since most of his team dealt with it. Sceptile obviously has Endeavors, so we'll get down to 1 HP anyway. Metagross hard walls it with the Meteor Mash. Um, it could be troublesome for Charizard, I guess, but at this point, Charizard's not doing a whole lot of sweeping with Suicune at perfect health, and with a sleep counter of 1, and I think now 0, I'm not sure. Here he's going to reveal his Claydol. He's going to come in on the Metagross, and Georgie's going to try to bring in his Charizard for some sweeping. Claydol does have Psychic, and that'll put a nice dent in Charizard. And he's just going to be stalling for a little bit of leftovers here. Ooh, but it gets a nice crit on that Psychic. So, that's going to really take out Charizard. He is in Blaze range now, though, so he might be able to fire off one super-powered Flamethrower, possibly Overheat. No, just Flamethrower. Not going to KO, but is going to put him down to very low health, pretty much eliminating Claydol from the match. Dragonuser has definitely taken over a lot of momentum. Right there, I would have sacrificed Claydol since Gengar is definitely very needed in handling the Sceptile. And there's my power, sorry, doesn't really matter, but yeah, so Gengar he's going to get the free switch though, and he's going to fire off a Thunderbolt into Metagross, and I think that the next time Metagross comes in, he will be knocked out in 2 hits by Thunderbolt, if it's well predicted, but that doesn't matter since Dragonuser has a Dugtrio, and Dugtrio, I think that speed ties with Sceptile, so that could end up being a problem. But he is going to just go to his Aerodactyl here. Yeah, it might be a problem later in the game. We'll see. Oh, and Dragonuser makes a great prediction there. Wow. That pretty much wins him the game, I think. God, I think Georgie was, just predicting him to swap out to Suicune. And then Sceptile could obviously sub down to 1 HP or fire off a superpowered Leaf Blade. But wow, he just stays in, fearless in the face of danger, and earthquakes the Sceptile for a knockout. Yeah, that was a really nice, and I'm going to say game-saving play for Dragonuser, since if he does not get, since if he's not nabbed that Sceptile before it can endeavor something down, he's dumb. Not dumb, he's done. Sorry, I guess that sounded like dumb a little bit, but wow. Strong plays, strong finish. Now, Georgie can still win. I'm not sure exactly what health Suicune is at, but he might be able to flinch through it. We'll have to see. Yeah, Suicune's at pretty high health here. Yeah, but he's gonna get the Calm Mind, and he's gonna get the flinch, but no, he's not gonna get the second flinch. And actually, I think Georgie's last yet. That's the Dugtrio. And Dragonuser said that he didn't know what his last was, but it had already been revealed. Georgie's gonna go for the flinch, not gonna get it. Like I said, Dragonuser really made a great play there by earthquaking that Sceptile. And this is gonna actually restart. Yeah, great play by earthquaking that Sceptile. Game-saving plays, but sometimes that's the risk that you have to take. Alright, that was Dragonuser versus Georgie, and this is badass. See you next time, guys.